Okay, we're recording.
Well, hello, Calvary. It's Pastor Andy,
Pastor Pat.
it's been a little while since we've done one of these sort of updates, and I don't know, seemed like a good thing to do. What do you think, Pat?
Yeah, I think we have some things to say.
We've been over 4 weeks in this quarantine thing, and in one sense, nothing's happening, but in another sense, lots of things are happening. And so we want to just record a little conversation and just share with you what's going on, what the Lord's doing. So I think probably the biggest news in the whole thing is, Pat, you have something to share.
We believe the Lord is moving us on. So we're going to be heading to Arizona. There's a church there. The pastor's retiring, and we've been talking to him for a bit. And this is just one of those things, man, that the Lord, when the Lord moves, at least in my life, these major decisions, he just opens wide doors. And it's kind of like, really? Oh my goodness, really? I can't believe this is happening. But yeah, so we're in the middle of a coronavirus. We're going to be heading over and I'm assuming the leadership of a church a bit south of Phoenix, and we're super excited. We've been here almost 2 years, and it's just been, and I have to say, this has been one of the most refreshing seasons of our entire lives. My wife and I have just we've been encouraged, we've been blessed. Our family's doing better than it ever has. We've thrived. It's just been great to be part of this church and this ministry, and people have just embraced us. It's been good. It's been healthy, and we just really sense like, this next step is what the Lord has for us. So we're pretty excited. These things are always bittersweet, right? We're gonna miss people for sure, and then on the other side of that, we're really excited about what God's gonna do. And you don't know what that is until you're living it. We've been through this type of stuff before. We left Miami to move to Toronto. We left Toronto to come to Ottawa, and now we're leaving Ottawa to go to Arizona. And so I don't think you ever though get used to saying, you don't ever get used to kind of that bittersweet pain. You don't want to do it. Like military families, though, right? They have to do this kind of thing every couple of years, I think, some people, and all of that. Yeah. So, but Andy, you told me when we were thinking and praying about coming over here, you said, hey, in the New Testament, God moves people around. You just see people bouncing all over the place. And that actually was something that was helpful for me as we really evaluated even coming here to Ottawa. So.
Yeah, it's something that we have to remind ourselves as Calvary Chapel pastors, because our model was Pastor Chuck, and he was in the same church for 40, 45, 50 years, something like that. And so that's kind of what we think about when we think about pastoring, but it's not always what the New Testament is talking about. Sometimes the New Testament is talking about, people moving around, and how God arranges the parts of the body the way that he sees fit. And Pat, we have been tremendously blessed to have you in Ottawa. And like you and I have talked before in private, I don't mind saying it in front of the whole church. I don't think we would have made it through 2019 without you. And so very, very grateful that you answered that call to come here and get plugged in and help out. Time to do schoolwork. Don't get distracted by other people, whether they're obeying or disobeying. You make sure that you're obeying. Well, I've got to finish talking to Pastor Pat, and then I can come help you.
And that, folks, is Parenting 101. He did a great job.
Hey, listen. You do what you're supposed to do. And if they want to get in trouble, let them get in trouble. Hang on a second, Pat. Yeah, so I'm grateful that you've been here, and I know our wives are going to miss each other. I know our kids are going to miss each other. And but the one good thing, and Pastor Brett reminds me of this often, the one good thing about Christianity is even when we move to different places, we really never lose relationships with people. We just end up adding and gaining, and
Mhm.
our family, as the family of God, just gets bigger and richer. And now, instead of going to Florida, we have a connection in Arizona.
Come
Hallelujah.
on, come on.
So that's big news.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. I was just going to say this. So I just got off the phone even before I sat down here to record this with you. I just got off the phone with somebody that I have not talked to in probably about 10 years, 8 or 10 years. There's been maybe a couple emails. They used to be a singer on the worship team that I led. And that conversation lasted about 30 minutes today, and it was delightful. And it was so glorious to hear about what God's doing in their life.
that was a really good thing you were saying. I should have
Yeah.
muted.
No, that's all right. That's all right.
Yeah, so it's a good conversation, and rich.
Well,
Yeah.
just to speak to your point that that conversation was just great to see what God has done in that person's life and in their kids. They were talking about one of their teenager that was just a horrible student and problem causer, and every teacher, and and this person was telling me, this kid now is 24 years old. He's preaching, he's loving Jesus. He's like, you can't stop him. He's on fire. And
That's
so just
awesome.
hearing things like that, and just different experiences that we've had. And so I definitely am a rich person because of the relationships, that we've had, and that's just going to get better and
It's gonna get
better
better.
and better, the more people
Yeah.
know, and
Yeah.
all of that.
So we're grateful that you came, obviously. But and then we're, I see the Lord in what's going on, with the church, and that kind of, because you've shared some stuff with me, but it doesn't change the fact that there's going to be a big hole that you're going to leave. And but Jesus is the head of the church. He knows what he's doing. If he's moving one person out, then he's probably going to be moving some other people in. And who that is, I don't know yet, but we'll just have to see what the Lord wants to do.
If you're watching this right now, that person may be you. Yeah, one of the things, and I've seen a fair number of churches and been part of several different churches, and one thing that I've noticed about the flock here, the body here at Calvary Fellowship in Ottawa, is that there are lots of people who are very mature, and they're godly people. They're solid. They're ready to go, and they just need maybe a little bit of a push, a little bit of direction, and they just need to have that desire to do it. And so there's a lot of good people. And so, yes, I think, obviously there will be a bit of a hole, but I think there's a number of people in the body right now that could step up and definitely fill those holes. So
yeah,
so it'll be good
because
to see what'll happen.
We'd like to see the school ministry continue. We'd like to see some of these other things continue, and we'll need some help in some of the technical stuff that you've been doing. Some of that behind the scenes stuff, we'll need some help doing that. So here's the other news that's going on, and that is we've got to continue adapting to online church. And so we've got some opportunities for online church coming up that are unique. So we're coming up to a new term, May 1st. We're looking at the next 4 months. We don't think that they're going to ease the restrictions significantly fast enough for us to go back to the old way of doing church anytime soon. So we need to get a little bit more comfortable in what we're doing, and kind of put a little bit more structure behind it. So Pat, do you mind talking about a little bit about some of the things that you've been doing, a part of online church, and how we need people to kind of step in some of those roles? You want to talk about that? Zoom operator, host.
Yeah, I've been doing a couple things, and started with setting up Zoom to meet our specific needs. Zoom is a great platform. The thing about Zoom, it's got tons of options and tons of little variables that you can set, to be able to do this or to be able to do that. And so we've tweaked it, and I think we've got all the settings now that it really works well. So that's one thing, just kind of the back end, I guess, kind of an IT. I guess I don't know if it's IT or not, but just, just kind of managing, making sure that the account runs. And Simon did a great job last Sunday of managing that, and I think moving forward he'd like to continue doing that. So that's that, and then just hosting, welcoming people. It's really no different than doing it live. You just have to be comfortable. If anything, you're learning some more skills. You're looking into a camera instead of a crowd. But it's just hosting and welcoming people. It's hospitality is all it is, welcoming people and making them feel loved and welcome, and whether that's through the chat or by speaking directly to the camera.
Right.
It's really not complicated. It's not complicated at all. So, and then I do some back end stuff with the YouTube channel, with the sermons, uploading sermons and all of that. So that's
and we'll need some help with some of that.
It's a bit more on the technical side, but if somebody has some basic WordPress, which is the platform that the website runs on, some basic WordPress skills is all you really need for that. Some little audio, video editing.
So we've got that going. The other thing we want to add to the to the Zoom church service, and this is a little different than what we do physically, but because of online, we've got to think about this. Sorry, I'm doing schoolwork at the same time that we're doing this, because
Parenting 102.
That's one of the things we need to add, and we need a good 10 or 15 people to do this each week, and that is volunteer to kind of lead or host or facilitate or be the point person in the breakout room for prayer. And probably the way that we're going to do this is we're just going to, do a numbered system. And so you might be number 7 or number 3 or number 10, that kind of thing. So depending on how many people we have tuning in, if they have their camera on, then we're going to want to put them in a prayer room. And what we want somebody in there that's just familiar and comfortable with what we're trying to accomplish in prayer. And so can, get prayer requests, and then, hey, let's pray this way. We'll all pray for this person, or we're going to kind of take turns and go in a circle, just kind of lead it. And then if something goes wrong or something's a little bit weird, they can ask for help and get the host in there, or, any one of those kinds of things. We'll have some training around that. But what I'm thinking is that somebody that is a stranger to us, we want them to be able to join the church and join the community and to find community, during this season and during this time. So if you're one of these people, you don't want to kind of end up in a prayer room and they don't have their camera on and you don't know who you're actually talking to. And, oh man, I don't know, is this going to be awkward or weird? So I'd like to have somebody in there that can kind of lead it and facilitate it and make it a good experience for people. Ultimately, as pastor, what I'm trying to accomplish, what I think we need to accomplish with our Zoom call, is we want to give people that opportunity to go into a prayer room or a breakout room, to pray out loud and to ask God for help for somebody else. This, I think, is where we're trying to aim for. That's a good thing for Koinonia. So you can help with that, and I think that's something that all of us that have been around Calvary for any amount of time would be comfortable doing and being a part of. So so consider that opportunity. Of course, we're still gonna do Calvary Kids, 6 to 12 teacher, 6 to 12 helper, 3 to 5 teacher, 3 to 5 helper. We're still gonna need some of those people, and that kind of thing. So I have one more thing I wanted to say, but I need to take just a short break to be a parent again. Calvary has a front door physically, and we want people to come and check out the church. And it's pretty easy to come and visit Calvary, when, not have to be identified, and just kind of see what's going on and see if this is kind of the people that you want to join, that kind of thing. It's hard to do that online in Zoom. We want to protect the password. We're going to have to change the password periodically and make sure we're, communicating that with everybody just to try to keep everybody safe. We've got kids, we want to keep everybody safe, but it's pretty hard to kind of get the password and come in. It's a big ask for people. So how do we let people know kind of what's going on, what this church is about, what the community is about, because everything's online. So what I'd like to do, and I don't know if I'll be able to do it or not, but I'd like to at least try, is I'd like to reformat our Bible study just a little bit, make it a little bit more YouTube friendly, and probably have a different release date for the recording of the Bible study, that kind of thing. And people can consume that, no problem. But there's definitely an invitation there. If they want to participate with us, get to know us, we'd like to get to know them and become part of the community here at Calvary. And so if you'd like to help me do that, you got some ideas around what a good YouTube video would look like and how to reformat some of the Bible studies into that kind of format, man, I want to talk to you. And if you got some sick editing skills, B-roll, let's chat.
What would be their call to action? Like how would they let you know? Like what should they do?
Yeah, in all of these, Joanna has done a really good job over the last couple of months of getting our back end stuff organized and straightened around, our files and our processes. And so everybody that wants to volunteer, what we need is we need you to fill out a volunteer application that's on our website, and you fill that out. After that, we'll get to see it. It goes in the planning center, that kind of stuff. And then we'll get a reference for you. And then you need to do a vulnerable sector check because we have children and, this kind of thing. So not hard to do that through the Ottawa Police. We can walk you through it. Not a difficult process at all. It actually can all happen within an hour. And we can get you lined up to serve. It's not hard at all. We've had all the elders go through the process. And so this is kind of our new process. We want to, just do a good job inside of the Canadian culture around volunteers and just keeping people safe and, that kind of thing. So that'll be the action point. And in that volunteer application, you can write and say, hey, I want to help out in this particular area if I can. And so it'll be good. I'm really looking forward. We've had this sort of group of people that have been, great at serving for a long time. We're here at May 1st. This is a whole new term. We're all stuck in our houses. You got lots of time. Hey, let's use that time for ministry. Let's be fruitful for the kingdom of God. We don't know how long this season will last. So that's the deal there. Anything else we should talk about, Pat? You're thinking of Arizona.
Well, no. I'm thinking that Carolyn's got these drop-in things happening that I think just people need to be connected throughout the week. So if you're not connected, get connected with other people and even just on the phone. I mean, this for us, for our family, I think since the coronavirus, I've actually reconnected with some old friends on Zoom. And I could have been doing this all along, but my good friend Alfred Morlote in Kentucky, and just talked to Scott Clonch down in Miami, and we're just like taking the advantage of, hey, we've got some time, we love these people, and so don't be lonely. I think this is my 3:00. I gotta go.
Pat, thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome.